This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Hello, welcome to the Easthampton City Council Public Safety Subcommittee. Today is Tuesday, November 14th. It is 6 p.m. And I, Owen Zara, the chair, I'm here with my colleague, Sale Derby. Councilor Munier could not make it. So welcome everyone, which currently is no one other than the people watching. We have approval of minutes from the past meeting. There are no minutes to currently approve. I will get those submitted. Public speak time. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to speak on any item relative to public safety, or really any other interest of the city that's not otherwise on the agenda? We'll give you time to talk about agenda items at those individual moments. I don't see anyone, so we can move on. There's no quarterly report. We don't have any new business. The only item that we could talk about otherwise, other than getting to the resolution, do you have anything to talk about with roadway infrastructure and pedestrian safety items? Is there anything that's?
Well, I think it's, while it might be difficult for people commuting in the morning, I think it is heartening to see the sidewalk work on Route 10 by the old Tasty Top property moving forward to put in new crosswalks and new sidewalks. I think that's, I know it's causing some people some consternation because of the traffic, but I think that it's going to be worth it and make Easthampton a safer place. So I'm glad to see that, and I hope to see the rest of that stretch have a similar outcome, maybe with less traffic issues.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that happening, and I didn't really know about it until it basically happened. Yeah, I agree. I think, actually, one thing I could, because I come down Florence Road and I turn right, and I always forget that that traffic's there, and I wonder if there's any advantage trying to direct people down O'Neill Street and around.
That's what so there was no traffic this morning, so it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
But yesterday I went down Love Field to O'Neill and went the back way to up towards Florence Road. So
yeah.
I think that people will probably organically figure that out, and I don't know if we did it less than organically. I think if there was some sort of a coordinated effort, the residents of those streets might be
sure. Fair enough.
Not super happy about that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I figured they probably thought about that too.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea, obviously, but I think people are trying to find other routes. It's too bad it's cold, because otherwise I'd be riding my bike and not to deal with it at all.
Yeah, it's tough to hit that, and then which takes a while, and then you get down to Union Street to hit that. So, anyhow, anything else?
I don't think so. I think things are running pretty smooth.
Great. All right. Well, so the resolution. So I listened to mostly the input was from one of our colleagues last time. They spoke at length about a few concerns, which I think mostly was like syntax for the most part, and I don't have them written down, so I could, but I think that there was one paragraph that basically discussed how white supremacy is kind of at the root of all this, which is obviously connected to anti-Semitism, and we listed a number of different groups that are affected by this, and the concern was that was stated was that, well, it doesn't really address the fact that they experience those in different ways, and I think that for me, I think that's implicit, but I took that paragraph and I just added manifesting. And so whereas white supremacists in the United States and Massachusetts have exploited and to continue to exploit bigotry and hate for political gain, I added manifesting in a variety of forms.
I think that was good. And I also think it's good at the end just to it's highlighted, so we have all of the different kind of people that can be targeted by white supremacists, and which is quite a list. And then, and I think it says with verbal attacks, incitement, and violence. And because I think, all of those groups are going to experience, while it might be in different contexts, they're going to, if you are a victim of violence, you're going to experience violence.
Right.
And so I think that is, again, the implicit part.
Mm-hmm. So are you okay with that?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Okay.
No, that was one of the ones I felt was perfect.
And then I also added, just because now the timeliness of what's going on.
100-fold?
Yeah, so I think the exact number is like close to 300%. But I thought it was important because to really contextualize now with what's going on, I should say many 100-fold percent
Increase in anti-Semitic incidents.
Yeah.
I think that I when I read that, I felt like that was a nod to the current state of affairs.
Yeah.
And it made sense to me, so.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Great. And then.
And the asking people to sign.
Oh.
Is that the one before that?
Well, I just wanted to address that, there were some questions about removing the part about social media. And up until now, certainly with the advent of social media, and then leading up to this, and then I could tell you definitely recently, like personally witnessed, but certainly like also hearing, like the amount of hatred and obviously contextually anti-Semitism that is occurring directly on social media is reprehensible. And I know it's complicated because of free speech and this talks about that, but I can't in good conscience remove that. I mean, it's a key part of what we need to do to try to curtail this, at least in some ways. And so I really, with respect to our colleague who spoke, I can't, that needs to stay.
Yep. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine with it.
But yes, and then there's this pledge, and again, I just wrote "be encouraged" too, because again, these things are non-binding, but they're hearts and minds type of things, and they, we want them to be as meaningful and effective as possible, and so things like directing people to signing pledges. That can also direct people to more action points, and also connect them with organizations that might be able to help give them resources and and facilitate their work. I think that's valuable. Again, we're not telling anyone to do it, but I wrote just be encouraged to.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, great.
Absolutely fine.
I had mentioned this last time, just to include that I would like the city to make efforts to recognize Jewish American History Month, because we've done a lot of work with Hispanic Heritage Month and Black American History Month. We've had events for that, and that was one of the things that, one of the inspirations actually to start thinking about this when I went to both of those events, so I included that. There was a concern about Community Relations Committee. To me, that's the hub of the type of in terms of a committee that does this kind of work, but in deference to their caseload and membership issues, I just added other relevant community stakeholders like we talked about last time. Like for instance, I already had reached out to the library just to have preliminary conversations about Jewish American History Month and say, hey, like, can we have like some books set aside and talk about that? And so obviously that would be the proper resource for that type of thing. It wouldn't be the CRC. Any concerns about that?
No concerns.
Okay. So I had some conversations, and thank you for pointing that out, because it was mostly just, trying to herd cats sometimes, just thinking about a lot of things with these things. So I reached out to the school superintendent and members of the school committee to discuss this. And I got a kind of confusing email back initially from the superintendent that basically was saying, well, we can't really change curricula, or it's really hard, and also I think that there was some confusion about this going on to an actual school committee agenda. There was some confusion about that, and then and so there was kind of communication about that that needs to be done by the chair or the superintendent, and that didn't happen. And then there was kind of a very kind of long explanation about DESI regulations and stuff that frankly I didn't have a lot of time to discuss, but the bottom line was that I had a productive conversation with the current chair and another member of the school committee who agreed that the current language as it stands isn't really overstepping our boundaries in terms of what the school committee does and directing them. It's just encouraging them or urging them. And they could take this and say, well, here's what we can do in the schools. Right. If we can make curricula changes, great. Like, that might be difficult. That's very hard to do. But can they acknowledge it through, like, they have that DEI class, or can they have events, or what events are they allowed to have? They also indicated there's a process where the school committee could, if they wanted to, vote to basically like write a letter in support of this once if it's passed.
Yep.
And so those were kind of some of the things that they said they could do.
Okay.
And then I added at the end too, as well as seek and offer training around the subject for staff as appropriate, because I don't know if like the ADL comes in and does training for schools or something like that, so I just wanted to leave that open.
And what did they say about urge to embrace the mandated state Holocaust and genocide education?
They didn't really say much. I mean, I'm assuming they're already doing that.
Like within history classes.
Right.
At the high school, probably.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're doing that because it's mandated, but obviously the language here is saying like, do the most you can.
Right.
You know, don't just, you know, try to really make it robust and vigorous. So we didn't get into too much about that, but I think these are conversations that could be had afterwards.
Sure.
Because it's totally within the school's right to basically be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
But this just opens a conversation. You're an educator. Is there anything else you think we should add here, or?
No, I mean, I think this is good. I think that the piece about offering training could be, you know, something where they reach during professional development days. It could be something for history teachers. Like it could be, and maybe this could be an opportunity where, like a public-private partnership where maybe a speaker is paid to come in from outside by an organization that is used to, you know, bolster what's happening in the schools and bolster the teachers' understanding. I know that we have a class at Northampton High School for its Holocaust class. So
specifically like a history class?
History and the Holocaust.
Okay.
And they have Holocaust survivors come and speak to the students, and then the school and we open it up for other people to go in and listen. You know, so things like that can happen. That's, you know, neighboring town that is not outside the realm of possibility, I don't think. You know. So, yeah, but other than, you know, but that wouldn't be something that we would write in here, because I think we already did, which is, you know, offering training around the subject for staff. But I think that could be one of those things where maybe if you know somebody, you could point them in the direction of the school department and say, hey, I'd love to offer professional development for history teachers. You know?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately what I'd love to see is for the school committee and superintendent to kind of take this and run, and the schools to just be like, okay, like, oh, well, let's put our thinking caps on and see how we can honor this or support this. Yep. So, cool. That's it.
And did we add anybody on the sending?
Oh.
So we Dan Carey, John Bulis, Richie Neal, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey,
and the congregations, yeah, and the federation. Yep. I guess we could. I don't know if I need to send it to the ADL. Maybe I'll send this to the ADL because they were a partner, and it might be nice to send them a signed copy.
Sure. No government shutdown. That's good.
The ADL did send another letter today. I don't know if you saw that. I sent it to but basically just like sending their support again.
Your support to this.
Yeah, just saying like, you know, so.
I didn't see it, but I'm really lucky.
Yeah. Do you want me to just read it, or?
Oh, here it is. Sure. If you want to read
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it into the public record. Trying to make our meeting longer than 15 minutes, but. So this was from Peggy Schuker, who's the assistant director, I believe, assistant director of Massachusetts ADL, who had partnered with this. They were a partner in the original language as well as a supporter. So, dear members of the Easthampton City Council, on behalf of ADL New England, I write in support of the adoption of the resolution sponsored by Council Member Owen Zaret that would demonstrate Easthampton's condemnation of anti-Semitism and its commitment to confront it in its many forms. Anti-Semitic incidents, including hate crimes, have been on the rise across the globe and the country, including here in Massachusetts. The numbers are striking. 2023 is the highest year on record, currently with 4,161 reported incidences across the United States alone. This is a 12.5 increase from 2022, which had 3,697 reported incidents in the United States. Furthermore, there's been a dramatic rise in incidents since October 7th terrorist attacks in Israel. We've seen a 316% increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. a month after the attack compared to the same time last year, as well as a growing number of assaults. There's been a significant increase in campus-related incidents with an average of 28 incidents each day across the U.S. Similar to the FBI hate crime statistics reported annually, these numbers are likely significantly underreported. It's undeniable hate is on the rise, including hatred directed towards Jews. We know that education, including Holocaust and genocide education, is key to changing attitudes and confronting the ignorance and misinformation that is often behind anti-Semitism. We know that naming it and those who have experienced the fear and isolation that comes with being a target of Jew hatred sends a powerful message that such hate is not condoned in any community. By passing this resolution, the City Council will send a strong message to the Easthampton community that hate and anti-Semitism have no home. You'll also be an example of other communities of proactive actions that our civic leaders can take to confront hate and anti-Semitism. So,
Great.
yeah, I think that's good. Good. So, it sounds like you have no concerns with the changes.
No, I think they're all appropriate, and I would be happy to make a motion.
Please do.
I make a motion to send the anti-Semitism resolution to the full City Council.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Let me just make sure I mark somewhere that.
This is apropos on the day of the largest march on DC. So
300,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just a week after Kristallnacht, too. So there's Dirty, Zaret, all right. Well, anything else, sir?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.